Well, hi everybody. It's good to have all my MVP friends with me today to talk about the spring release. Um, for those viewers that have joined us, I'm Donna Edwards. I'm an architect with Hitachi Solutions, and I'm going to be the moderator for today's chat. I'd like to give my fellow MVPs an opportunity to introduce themselves. So we have Faradin.
Hi everyone, this is Faradin. I'm based in England, the United Kingdom. I am an MVP, of course, but I'm a freelance CRM consultant and trainer, and I'm looking forward to answering some of your questions today.
Perfect. Joel.
Hi, I'm Joel Lindstrom. I'm with Hitachi Solutions. I'm based in Greenville, South Carolina. I've been an MVP for, I think, 7 years now, and I'm really excited about the spring release.
Did I say your name properly? Yuka, can you hear me?
Yeah. Hello there, and good evening from Finland. So my name is Jukka Nirinen, and I'm working for a company called Digital Illustrated in Finland, and as a CRM consultant there, and it's actually my first year as a CRM MVP, so excited about that, and of course excited about our latest release for CRM Service Pack 1 for 2013, or the spring release for online.
Cool. Hey, Leon.
Hi Donna, Leon Tribe here in Australia, working for a company called Oakton. We work with Dynamics CRM and the Salesforce as well, and yeah, also very excited about the stuff that's coming with this release in terms of leveling the playing field. So exciting times.
Great. Hey, Mark.
Good morning, I'm Mark Smith, and it's bright and early here in Sydney, Australia with Leon. We're up at 2 a.m. for this call. Very excited about the spring release and all the releases that are happening this year. My particular interest, I've been working with a lot lately, is the Dynamics marketing and the social listening piece, so quite excited about them coming to market. And based on the news just at the start of the weekend, it's exciting to have something new to talk about with Dynamics CRM at the moment to offset the not so exciting stuff.
Cool. Yeah, it's really hard to get these international calls scheduled in a way that somebody doesn't get impacted negatively, and unfortunately this time it's been Leon and Mark. But I think frequently it's Leon and Mark. I think you guys are either up really, really late at night until 1 or 2 in the morning, or up really, really early in the morning, you know, at 4 or 5. So we're going to have to work to do a better job of that, you guys, on a more regular schedule. But we certainly appreciate you being willing to get up at this time and join us, share your knowledge. So welcome everybody. I was really happy to be able to host and moderate this chat today. We have a lot of great things to talk about. Leo is out, as most have probably seen me Twitter. It's out, and it's out with a roar, and I'm not quite so sure if this is more of a spring wave or a spring tidal wave. I know I've spoken with a few of you, and you're feeling similarly, and that we have a lot of content to cover, a lot of features in this. For me, it's kind of a new paradigm. You know, this is a service release or a service pack, and in some ways it feels more like a new version with all of the stuff that we have to work with now. So without further delay, let's just jump in and start talking about what we have. And one of the things that I wanted to cover, because I've heard some confusion in the community, is, you know, how exactly do people obtain these updates, both for CRM Online and CRM on-premise?
I can answer that because I've rolled it out to several customers already, and you know, what I would say is, if you're online, you probably already have it. You might not know you have it. You do it. This is what Microsoft calls a soft release, which is kind of, you got the major release at the beginning of the year, or the end of the year actually, and then in the spring you've got what they consider a more minor release. But for a minor release, this has a lot of stuff in it, especially around customer service. And so what you want to do is you want to go hit the little gear up in the upper hand corner and go to About, and they'll show you your version. If it starts with 6.1, you've got it. Now that enables the bug fixes and enables some new functionality changes, but it doesn't enable the new entities, the new customer service stuff. And so my feedback based on that is that the upgrade of installing the new features is very safe. I've done it several times, and I'm impressed with how Microsoft has really thought through a lot of this stuff. And it's obvious when you turn it on and then you look at your case form, for example, they're adding several substantial new features and sections to it, but they put them all in collapsed tabs at the bottom. And so it plays very nicely with what you have. I haven't seen anybody get their customizations messed up. I have seen a couple of people get their sitemaps messed up because there's some new sitemap areas added, but those are minor stuff. I haven't seen anybody with the big problems that we've experienced with some updates in the past.
Cool. Anybody else have anything you'd like to add to that?
Yeah, I could also add one thing that wasn't mentioned by Joel there was that you also get some new subgrids for your account and contact forms, and there might be some new entities shown there for the entitlements and also this thing called social profiles. So it might be a good idea for you to, at least if you have any users who are, have the full-blown admin rights to the environment and can already see the new entities by default, then not to scare them off, but I mean check out all those. Go through your existing forms and all the menus that you have there, and like make sure that people are ready for seeing the new menus out there. And if you don't need them, just customize them away or disable the user rights from those user groups. So there should be no disruption to your normal use of CRM then.
That's a great point. There are a couple things I've seen surprise some of our customers. One of those is especially people that have come through the 2011 to 2013 process. And when you do that, you have to start thinking simple. You have to think, okay, I only have 5 links in the command bar. So what's most important? What do I hide? Well, now Microsoft has added some additional ones where we can now have 7 show by default. And I've actually had customers that kind of surprised because all of a sudden they see more links, and well, that's a good thing. They put a lot of time and effort into thinking through what are our top 5, and now they have 2 more that maybe aren't. Maybe there's some others that are more important there. So just be aware of that. There's little things that might surprise you, but there's no big whammies in there.
And is it right, Joel, that the number of commands that you can have is actually fixed at 7? You can't change that.
I'm not sure on that. I know for on-premise, like with the sitemap, you have the ability to adjust that, but I'm not sure. I think everything I've seen is 7 so far.
Yeah.
That sounds like a good exam question.
Yeah.
We would all be stumped by it, I guess.
I see a lot of parallels between where Microsoft is going with CRM and where they're going with Windows, because like with Windows, they took a dramatic change with 2013. And now you see kind of like with the Windows 8 Service Pack 8.1 and 8.1 update, they've kind of scaled some of that back or listened to feedback from users and made some changes. You'll see some of those things in here too where they made drastic changes for good reasons with the sitemap, with the number of links you have, with the number of buttons that show up at the same time, and turning duplicate detection off and things like that. So you'll see some of these things where it's like we had the new baseline of 2013 that changed a lot of stuff, but they are listening to what customers are saying. And some of the things that were very drastic and maybe stark differences, they're kind of smoothing those rough edges out a little bit. So it's all good stuff, I think.
And one of the things that's come back, I think you just mentioned, was the duplicate detection is back in this release as well, which I think a lot of people will be happy about.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. I do see Microsoft listening quite a bit more now, and given the amount of changes in this release, the fact that they really pretty much hit the nail on the head, right? And this was a significant Service Pack release with a lot of change, a lot of enhancements I like to refer to them as those deep and wide enhancements across the application. And one might expect that we would see a lot more fallout from a release like this. And I've been really happy that, I haven't heard too much rumbling in the community. Of course, there are always, this isn't working as expected, or why did this change, or whatever, but not a huge impact to the community based on the amount of change that's been driven. So I think that one of the key things that people can look for when they do process the update is that service management area, right? Would you guys agree?
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Yeah, I think so. It puts all this, a lot of the stuff, even stuff we had before, like queues, it puts it all in a nice single area.
Yeah, I agree. Has anybody had much of a chance to get in there and play around with that a little bit? Mark or Leon, Sheridan, you guys been able to see that and spend some time in there yet?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I've done a little bit of digging around with the entitlements and the SLAs area. And I think when I first saw a screenshot of what was coming some months ago, I almost shouted, hooray, about time too. I do a lot of work with partner companies that are sort of running help desks, and quite often, we're having to explain to them in earlier versions that the service part of CRM takes you so far, and then you're forced to resort to third-party add-ons or development or other complex customizations to achieve what they need to do, especially in terms of tracking when do I need to get this case resolved by, and meeting SLAs. And I'm really pleased to see that we now have that. And although it may be such a small thing, I think people are going to love seeing the new timer control on forms, where you've got a very in-your-face indication of, are you close to not meeting the SLA, because the control will change colors. And I think that's a very exciting excitement to add to the case form. And it's not just for cases. That timer control can be added to custom entities as well.
Oh, that's very cool. Very cool. How about others? Do you have anything you'd like to share maybe on those customer service enhancements and the service management area?
So for me, I think the big one would be and how simple, if you like, it is to install that and get that up and running. I've noticed a bit of confusion about people going, is Unified Service Desk Parature? And what is the difference? So there is quite a clear difference that Unified Service Desk is not Parature. Integration to Parature from a Dynamics CRM perspective, full-blown, will probably happen later this year, but this is not part of the spring release. The Unified Service Desk is really Microsoft building on their intellectual property that they built across CCA, the Customer Care Accelerator, CCF, the Customer Care Framework, and CCD, the Customer Care Desktop. So this latest release definitely allows a rapid deployment of that call center type model, where you're wanting to move from just a phone-based conversation to an omni-channel, cross-channel type of engagement, while also allowing you to integrate session control across multiple applications, not just Dynamics CRM, but any third-party applications that the organization might have in their environment. So I think it's the Unified Services is a massive win for the Dynamics product.
I agree, and I think it's great that this time it's been released, right, and it's out there, and people can go out and play with it and test it. And I believe we also have some templates that we can work with respect to that, don't we, Mark?
Sorry, I didn't quite catch it, Donna.
I was just saying that I think it's great that Microsoft has released it, right? You can go out and you can download it, you can play with it. I believe they've also put some templates out there to help people get started.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely.
Well.
Yeah, it'll only be a matter of time before all the main telco-type companies that have their soft phone technology will integrate that. I'm working with a company at the moment that's integrating their phone solution directly into it. By the end of the month, I'm fully expecting to have Link and Skype integrated as a telephone source, if you like, just to illustrate very rapidly how quickly you can build up those desktop environments. It allows a lot of customization with that product, including adding your own brand and quite a detailed level of customization can be done on that unified service desk solution.
It was always an exciting platform in that it did things like it saved the case state. So in theory, you could get a case and you could pass it on to another service desk operator, and they'd take it exactly where you left it off. They wouldn't have to go into CRM, drill down, try and find the case again. There was aspects like screen scraping, so you could pass information from one application to another within the CCF framework. The thing in the past, I guess, was it was just a framework. You had to do a lot of development. I haven't got my hands on with this latest iteration of it, if you like, but it's certainly exciting. If they can bring that to the table, all these elements. If you're in an organisation where you're dealing with multiple apps to deal with your clients, potentially this now rolls them up into the one screen and passes the information through to all the different elements. It's a very exciting product, and it's great that they're starting to put some investment there to get it out there and get people using it.
Yeah, I agree. I'm really interested to see where Microsoft is going to take that one. So, as Faradin mentioned, there are some really strong areas in customer service now that we have, right? SLA and entitlements, queues, case routing. What are those areas that you've discovered that you are most excited about and think are going to more greatly benefit either your clients or your consultants as they go out and sell the application and deploy it?
Well, one of the things I'm really excited about are how useful these features are for even non-service companies. For example, the SLA, you might not do service level agreements, but what's exciting to that is anybody who has any customers that they take support calls or issue calls from can use that standard routing process.
Joel, I think you're breaking up just a little bit, unfortunately.
Listen, Donna, the other thing I would add in this area is I think the email to case and the social feed to case feature is there are so many applications when it comes to implementing that. Just one of the scenarios recently with an organization is around taking them from using it, if you like, as a spotter, creating an email address that anybody in the organization can use to spot opportunities and feed it into that. It then gets triaged up, an email address, simple for somebody to, flick an email off of an opportunity, which then can be actually managed through to the right sales teams and an engagement kicks off. So I think that functionality as well as that social media, being able to monitor your Twitter channels or Facebook channels and then be able to feed those automatically into cases. That's an exciting advancement in where the product is going, and really that whole extensibility of where the product's going to tap into these other parts of technology. And just to add to that, the other bit of confusion I've come across is that people think that Microsoft's social strategy going forward is around Microsoft Social Listening, the former NetBreeze acquisition. But it's much more than that. So this feature that I was just talking about, the taking a social feed and turning it into a case, like a tweet or a Facebook post, that's another whole social layer independent of the actual social listening piece. So Microsoft, including with the internal story around Yammer integration, is really rounding out end-to-end social and how that is going to be used across an organization, whether it's to identify opportunities, manage complaints or cases, right through to, I think there'll be many applications for this feature.
Yeah, I agree. The whole social offering that's presented to us, in this service release, the service pack, is huge, right? So you have some social integration that's actually part of CRM. Then on top of that, we have the social listening, dynamic social listening, right? And then we also have character. Okay? So all of these things combined, I find it hard to believe that anybody would need anything more Oh, and then we also have Dynamics marketing, right? And that has some social integrations and some social features. So with this complete package, I find it challenging to think that that somebody might need anything more than what the Dynamics product brings. You can just top all of that off with Office 365. Leon or Yuka or Sheridan, did you have anything else that you wanted to share on that subject while we get Joel back on here?
There's one feature which I haven't explored, but I believe is in there, which is merge case as well. We can have merge cases together.
Yes.
Which for me is great. Because oftentimes if you've got a call center with multiple people taking support calls, it can happen that you'll get the same case lodged more than once. And that ability to merge, I haven't played with it, as I say, but I believe it is in there. That's a very handy feature. And something that was missing before.
Yeah, absolutely. That feature is there. If you think of what you can do with accounts and contacts in terms of merging two of those together, then that's what you can do with cases. And as Leon pointed out, you get multiple cases logged about the same thing. Then we highlight two, select one as the master, and the other one is cancelled, and then obviously that tidies up the number of cases that need to be dealt with. So yeah, that's a great feature. Another thing that comes with that is having a hierarchy of cases. So there's now a facility for showing on the case form where you might have multiple cases that are connected. So perhaps there's a problem, but that problem has exhibited itself in lots of different ways. So you've got lots of people, lots of customers all logging that they can't get onto their phone system or whatever, but there's a root cause issue. So you could have the root cause as a single case and then have all the different clients that are affected by that as child cases. So again, you can track all of that. So that's another great change to what you can do with cases.
Yeah, I would just like to maybe add to the whole service management new features discussion that one thing that's really interesting about it is that it's actually delivered as a managed solution, the whole upgrade there, and even the SLA function actually used the workflow engine in the background. So effectively what Microsoft is doing is that they're using their own tools, eating their own dog food, and like building the new solutions as we would enhance the platforms. So I think that's a great example of them trying to play by the same rules as the ISVs and consultants. So kind of also in the progress making the platform more capable then as they open up these new controls to the people who are working on their own solutions there. And I mean, one aspect there also is that many of the kind of email to case or routing stuff you could do with workflows before, but you really had to know what you were doing. So it wasn't something you configure, it was something that you had to customize there. So the barrier of actually using that kind of features was probably quite high because you had to like know the ropes of the application there, and you couldn't just open up a wizard and like configure the rules there. So the fact that we now have kind of this a package UI specific for building workflows related to case management, then I think that's a very interesting and exciting direction for the product to take. So looking forward to seeing similar kind of features also maybe in the sales and marketing areas in the future.
Yeah, I would agree with what you said. And one thing that impresses me is it shows that somebody has put a lot of thought behind these features. So, for example, with the parent-child cases, there's a lot. It seems simple, but there's things around. Well, do you resolve the children when you resolve the parent, or do you do them individually? They give you options to do that. Same thing with the email to case. On the surface it seems simple, but there are several things that have plagued most third-party tools. Like, well, if you resolve the case and somebody sends another email, do you create a new case or do you append it to the existing one? They've covered all those bases, and so the email to case is one that I am super excited about, just because, again, even if you don't do customer service or if that's not your business, if you have anybody reporting issues, email is the most common way they do that. And so I would say even for non-customer service type deployments, email to case is almost a no-brainer in most deployments now, because it's out of the box, it's easy, and so. But again, they've just put so many thoughts there. I've been very impressed, especially with the email to case, the queue changes that really take things that have been lacking and really make them top notch now.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with Joel there. It does look like someone sat down and thought about this. But on the flip side, how long have we been waiting? It's been a long, long time since the service side of CRM has been touched, and I guess we should also be grateful that the original plan had this not coming out until the end of the year. That was another bonus for on-premise clients where it was announced, I don't remember when, but that Leo was going to be available for on-premise because the original plan was to have it just for the online customers. So I'm certainly very thankful for that.
I agree. I think those are all really key points, and I do give Microsoft credit for the work that they have done with this. They've rolled out a huge release, and we're all going to spend several months going forward getting our heads wrapped around it and ensuring that we fully understand it and that we're supporting the community. I do have a quick question here from the audience, and just wanted to take a moment and say hi to everybody in the audience, and thank you for joining us today. And we're glad you're here, and we're happy to address your questions in Q&A. Leon, I like that nice wave you gave everybody. That was pretty cool. So I have a question from Ashish here, and as with most people, they want to get out there and they want to try out all of these new features, right? So it's easy to try out the new features that are delivered with CRM. You can just spin up a CRM trial and you can get running. You can go out to Office 365, spin up an Office 365 trial, include a CRM trial with that, and you get a lot of the integration and a lot of the changes. But the question is more about, hey, I also want to try Unified Service Desk, and I want to try social listening, and I want to hook in the Yammer integration, and maybe even Dynamics marketing. How can I go and get an instance of CRM and try all of those things together?
It's coming. I mean, Dynamics marketing and social listening are really new products. Marketing Pilot and NetBreeze existed, but the Microsoft, the new rollouts of those, as far as I know, they haven't actually happened. And even as a partner, we're still going off of beta orgs for Dynamics marketing and social listening. So I'm with you on that, and it is coming. It's just not not here yet. The release last week was of the spring update for CRM 2013. The rollouts are going to continue with social listening and Dynamics marketing.
Do you expect that there will be trial versions available for those, the marketing and the social listening?
I think I heard there was going to be, at least for the Dynamics integration, there will be something like with Demo Builder, but I don't know for sure. And the social listening integration isn't quite as firm of an integration as the Dynamics marketing integration.
Yep, that's spot on. Now, today you can go out and get a CRM online trial, and I believe you can hook Unified Service Desk up to that. Mark, I think you wrote a blog article on that, and you've actually played with that a little bit. Did you hook that up to a CRM online trial, or did you hook that up to on-premise?
No, I did that online. So as long as you're running the Service Pack or the Spring 14 release, you can download. You'll see on my blog where you can download, as well as the various templates, etc. And what that allows you to do is it'll download a package file, and packaging is a new concept introduced in this version of Dynamics. So think of it as taking multiple solutions, multiple data sets, so data can be added into a single package, and then you can connect to your CRM environment, and it will automatically integrate those solutions and those data sets, change things like sitemaps, that type of thing, and set that tool up ready to go. So there's really two components to it. The Unified Service Desk has a desktop agent, which is an MSI file that gets installed on your desktop. Really, you only want to jump into that once you've deployed the package with the various solution files onto your server. So once that's done, you'll be given an interface that allows you to specify whether it's a O365 account on-prem, or I think it even still supports CTP platform. and pop in your credentials for that environment. It'll ask you also which data center your CRM Online instance is in, so North America, that type of thing, APAC in our case. Once you specify that, it'll create the connection. It'll run through a range of checks and then install those solutions into your online instance. So that's it's not too difficult to get that whole environment up and running using your package tool.
Cool. So that can give you a pretty good start to get CRM Online. You can try out all of the changes and features that are available to you in the service pack, and you can also hook in Unified Service Desk to that. As the other things begin to roll out, social listening and dynamics marketing, keep an eye out for those and watch for trial instances to come along that you will also be able to hook into your trial environment.
I do have a question for the other people on the Hangout, and that is, have you played with case creation from the social channel? There's a sample code to allow you to, and now we have, for the channels in the cases, you can have Facebook and Twitter, but it's not really necessarily a simple to install thing. I was just curious how far the rest of you have taken that to see what can you really do, because it seems like there's some additional pieces you need to be able to, say, get Facebook data into CRM.
Yeah, that's correct, Joel. And unfortunately, that little piece of functionality is not an out-of-the-box piece of functionality right now, which is something that perhaps needs to be worked on. I think it's partly got to do with that you need to set up API keys, etc., those third parties, and there's some rules around that. So that sample code,
there's licensing involved from that too in some cases.
Yeah, so I don't know that the sample code, I don't know if that's in the public domain yet. I know we've had it for a while. It requires you to spin up Visual Studio and plug in. Unfortunately, the actual piece of code was never written for production use, if you like. It was really written off the back of Convergence, demoing that functionality at Convergence. So it was never, if you like, turned into a robust product. So whether that'll be a place for the ISV third-party ecosystem to create those tools and to create those social connection points may be the case. The experience to date that I've had with it, it's with that piece of code, it can be a bit difficult getting it up and running. You can get a lot of generic codes, particularly between Twitter and CRM. So yeah, there's work needed in that space at the moment.
That's probably also someplace where Parature will come in too, because Parature has some pretty rich functionality around that from what I've seen.
Yeah. Hey, listen, Donna, one other thing I just want to add. I've just jumped into my Office 365 account that I deployed the other day, and Microsoft Social Listening Professional is available for purchase right now. So is Microsoft Dynamics Marketing Enterprise. It's available for purchase right now. So the social listening has a price of $100 per user per month, and what I'm looking at, and $125 for Microsoft Dynamics Marketing. So that's available, as I say, right now in Office 365. If you go to your add-on solutions, they are available now.
Cool. Thanks so much for that, Mark. And just one quick follow-up question for Ashish. Unified Service Desk is separate from ST1, and it's available out on the Microsoft download site to download, as well as some templates. We have a few other questions that I'd like to get to here real quick, and Todd's been waiting a little while, and he's asking, he'd like to know for on-premise and Service Pack 1, can they defer the updates to cases 2 and just take on the fixes and the platform change? So basically, they'd like to be able to install Service Pack 1, get all the fixes, get everything included, but not trigger the actual update. Joel, I see you chomping at the bit there, so jump right in.
Yeah, you can do that. It's the same process. When you install the Service Pack 1, it doesn't enable the new features until you go into settings and do it. And I actually have a blog post, I think it's on the tip of the day next week, but basically what happens if you don't do that? You get all the fixes, you still do have some functionality changes, you know, like the changes to the command bar, and what I consider functionality changes are there. but none of the changes to cases, queues, service management, none of that stuff is there. I would recommend that eventually you do it, even if you don't use cases, and the reason is several things. For one thing, you can't rule out what you're going to do in the future, and if you forget to install it and then later on you do it, you start doing cases. There's some powerful stuff there. But also, you never know if you license a third-party solution if it's going to take advantage of that stuff. And so, I would, definitely no problem if you hold off, but keep it on your radar and do it eventually. And like I said earlier, it's safe. It doesn't necessarily change any of your existing customization. It just adds some new entities, some new sitemap areas. But answer your question, yeah, it's the same process. You can choose not to just install new features if you want to.
Cool. I think that answers it spot on, unless anybody else will have anything to share on that. We'll move on.
Maybe just one addition that could be covered here would be that there's also a new feature in Service Pack 1 that concerns the exporting the solution. So now you can choose actually the target version of the solution file that you plan to deploy your exported solution into. So for example, if you have deployed Service Pack 1 into your environment and then you want to create a package and deploy it into an environment that doesn't have SP1 yet, then you can actually choose that in the process of exporting your solution file. So that's just one new menu item in the customization area that people will run into. So it's good to be aware of that. That actually comes with Service Pack 1, the ability to target the version of CRM for your solution.
Yeah, those are really good things, and Mark touched on one briefly as well. So that being able to target your export solution version is a very cool feature, and also this concept of a solution packager, right, where you can pack up your solutions and your data and all of that, and then move it to a new environment. So those are the feature set is just huge. I mean, we could probably spend an entire hour just talking about the customer service changes. But there is just so much more. Let's talk a little bit about the time-based calculations. We have one question here from Ron, and he wants to understand if he's thinking about the timer that's being offered in Service Pack 1 on the cases, and someone on the panel mentioned that you can also apply those to Ferritin. I think that might have been you. You mentioned you can also apply those to other entities, other custom forms, that sort of thing. So I guess the question here is, can you use this SLA feature as kind of a time-based calculation? And one of the examples of these is that they use it as a days and stage marker for opportunities, but there's really no time-based calculation out of the box. So I was wondering if maybe you can use that new timer type feature in a scenario like that. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Sorry, I've got nothing to add on that, as in I don't know, so.
Yeah, I think the timer actually is just it's a countdown timer, so thinking about a days in the stage, that would require different kind of functionality from what I know, but I haven't tried it actually with any other entities yet, so it's one thing to explore there.
Yeah, I think you would have to extend that feature. Sheridan, I don't think I'm hearing you. It could be just me.
Ah, that's because I had mute on for so I'm back now. I was wondering why nobody was hearing me. Yeah, you can add the timer control to other entities. Depending on how you want to use it, it's a countdown control, and I think really you just need to identify a date field that's going to be used as the basis of the countdown. So, if you say that perhaps you have to follow up the opportunity by whatever date, and then you could program the timer control to work off that. So perhaps the chap can use it.
Right. So it might be a challenge for them to use it as the opportunity flip stages, so that they can track. Okay, in stage 1, the opportunity sat there for 5 minutes. In stage 2, it sat there for 15 minutes. In stage 3, it sat there for a day. That might be a bit of a challenge, but they might be able to. I'm not sure how extensible that is.
No, neither am I. But I think you would probably get a fair way just by standard customization. You know, not doing any development. So it's
Cool.
worth exploring.
Yeah, definitely. Okay.
There was
Good.
two things that I wanted to add to things that were mentioned earlier, and now I realise that you weren't hearing me. On the social listening, somebody mentioned the pricing. I think it's worth pointing out that if you have an online subscription with, I think it's 25 or more users, social listening is thrown in for free, if I'm not very much mistaken. And the down level tool, I think it's worth making clear that it can't be used to target CRM 2011, which may be obvious, but just it's worth remembering.
That's a good point. You know what? There's actually another feature, or I don't know if you want to call them, you want to call them, but that's available for free for CRM Online professional licenses, and that's Inside View, right?
Yeah.
And View now comes included for CRM Online professional license. So that's another new feature to check out. Hey, I wanted to talk a little, it looks like we've lost Joel, so I was going to talk about the mobile client and tablets, but I know he's done a lot of work there, and I thought I might wait just a couple of minutes to see if he comes back. But
Well, I can mention something else if you want to, while we wait.
Absolutely.
Yeah, another feature is status reason transitions. I don't know if anybody else has seen those. So this feature, so with most entities in CRM, we have status and status reason, and I imagine we're all familiar with those. And users can go from one status reason to any other at will. But with the case entity and custom entities after SP1 is applied, you can now restrict the path that people take when flowing through, say, the life cycle of a case. So if you decide to enable status reason transitions, it means that, say, the case is currently on a reason of in progress, you can then define what status reasons they can change it to, perhaps say only cancelled or problem solved, and not be allowed to change any of the others. So this is perhaps another way of enforcing a life cycle of an entity, but around status and status reasons. And to use that feature, you just navigate in your solution or the default solution to the case entity, to the status reason field, and on that form, along the top, you'll see enable status reason transitions, and then you'll see all the status reasons listed out, and then you can define what the available paths are from one to another. And I think that's a very interesting feature. At the moment, it's only on cases and custom entities. Whether it will be available for other system entities in the future, who knows? Maybe it will.
Oh, that's very cool. I haven't heard that spoken about much, so thank you. That's
well, there you go. So you've learned something too. Fantastic.
Yeah, there's a nice little golden tip for everybody today. So very nice. Thank you so much. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Microsoft does with that. I mean, I hear a lot of requests in the community for something like that with respect to business process flows.
Yeah.
Right? People want to be able to restrict, or control the gates between the business process flow and what occurs next, that sort of thing. So it'll be interesting to see how that gets leveraged, or if it gets leveraged in that type of feature. Perfect. So I have a question, or does somebody have something you'd like to add to that? Is everybody still hearing me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've lost your picture, Donna. Oh, there you go, you're back.
Oh.
One small feature of cases. We probably all had the joy of resolving a case and being informed that there was an open activity somewhere, and then we have to ferret around and try and find that one open activity which is holding us up. They've slightly modified that behavior now. So when you go to resolve, if there are open activities, it gives you the option of just cancelling the ones that are still open. So you don't have to do that ferreting around and finding the rogue open activity anymore. You can just cancel it automatically now. As we said before, someone sat down, they've actually thought about how people use service module, and that's one of the testaments to it.
Oh, that's very cool. It's another little tip there that we found out that we haven't heard a lot about in the community yet. So that's cool. I like hearing those. Marku has a question for us, and his question is that aside from the new features of the spring 2014 update, he would like to know about, well, he'd like to know about the recent partnership between Microsoft and Salesforce. And we're going to get to that in just a little bit, but I'm going to save that towards the end because there are a few other features that I really wanted us to at least touch on before we go down that path. So we'll definitely get there in a little bit. One other question from Ashish is wondering if Microsoft's actually going to provide some demo scripts for all of these new solutions, out on the dynamicsdemo.com, and my response to that is, I suspect that's highly likely. What do you guys think?
Yeah, that's definitely been indicated that that's on its way, especially in that demo builder environment if you have access to it. The other thing is now with the new packaging tool, it means that really it's going to be possible for you to create your own demos that you can rapidly deploy around specific industries, focus areas, that type of thing, because you're going to be able to package up all the data, multiple solutions, and deploy that to a new environment. So I think not only do we have Demo Builder and that piece of functionality, but it means that you could spin up a clean CRM Online instance and then deploy a package with various components or solution files, etc., that will allow you to rapidly create your own customized demo environments, which I think is going to be massively powerful.
I have a feeling I've seen some demo scripts on Partner Source as well. Certainly they're building out the site set, so if the question's from a partner looking to demo, certainly check out Partner Source, because the social listening site's there, the Dynamics marketing site's there, and they're adding content to that quite frequently. I'm pretty sure I've seen some demo script stuff there.
Great, that's very helpful. Thanks, Leon. A couple of the other features we've kind of touched on a little bit, but I want to give you guys also a chance, aside from all of the great changes to customer service itself, there are a number of other kind of, certainly not miscellaneous, but you could refer to them as kind of miscellaneous. There's some platform changes, there's some great developer changes, and then there are some other things like, for instance, the solution packager, like sandbox environments. So I would like to, have some discussion around those other types of features beyond the customer service changes, and understand what you guys think is going to be key for our clients and some of the ways that they can leverage those.
Yeah, if I may start then, one thing to note if you're CRM Online is that with this release you actually get two server-side synchronization functionalities or server-side functionalities, and those are for support for Exchange Online synchronization that wasn't previously available. So now you actually can get emails into in and from CRM without having your Outlook open, so that's, or having the email router installed locally. So that's definitely a great enhancement to have there, and especially if you are wanting to try out the new service queue management features, for example, then setting up a demo environment with the trials, then now you can just spin up CRM Online trial and also the Office 365 trial, and then hook up the your test email addresses there. So that really gives you a lot better story to try out the new service management features there. And then, of course, another addition was that only with CRM Online now, then you have a actual new component there for the SharePoint integration. So instead of the previous client-side integration that required installing the list components, now it's actually a native solution there, and you don't have to also deploy any additional packages to SharePoint Online if you want to try the feature. So you just hook it up to the right SharePoint Online instance, and then it just works out of the box. So definitely a lot better user experience for configuring a fully functional environment in the cloud.
I agree. Microsoft is doing a great job of making those integrations seem more seamless, right? So with server-side sync and SharePoint integration, you know, with a small amount of configuration, all of a sudden you have all of these applications together, and that's what I mean by more seamless.
Yeah, and just to add on the server-side synchronization, although I don't know this, I'm willing to bet that in the fullness of time, the email router is going to disappear. And I suggest that people, start looking at server-side synchronization for emails if you're not using it already, and get comfortable with it.
Great advice. I suspect it's spot on there. Nobody's ever really been completely happy with the email router anyway. Server-side sync is definitely a great solution for that.
I can add something on sandbox environments. I don't know if people in general have picked up on something that's useful for CRM Online customers. There are now features where you can fairly quickly provision a sort of a non-production instance of CRM, but rather than it being just an out-of-the-box brand new empty organization, you can make it a copy of your existing production CRM, and you also have the option to include data or not include data, but include all the customizations. So I think for trying out maybe add-ons, doing some development or whatever, messing around with development organizations, I think it's going to be considerably simpler with this new feature in CRM Online.
I agree. Has anybody had an opportunity to set up any of the sandbox environments yet?
I haven't had a chance to play with that, but of course it's a great addition to have, and something that's been very useful in local development environments. But if you're doing it online, then please make sure that you have enough storage capacity for a full production database copy, because that's going to be counting towards your quota of gigabytes available there in the cloud. So if you don't have enough capacity, then just do a copy without the production data.
Yeah, that's a very good tip, because you don't want to suddenly incur additional costs for the storage. Absolutely right.
Good point. That was a good tip. Well, I don't think Joel's going to be able to get back on and join us, so I do want to touch on the changes to the mobile client and the tablet enhancements. Have you had a chance to work with those, and what's been your experience? I've heard some really good things, so I want to hear from you.
Well, one thing that makes the lives of consultants easier is definitely that you can now choose the organization where you point your tablet clients to, so you don't have to go through the whole uninstall, reinstall procedure for trying it out with different trials or development organizations. So that's definitely a step forward with the tablet clients.
Cool. Yep, I think that's a great point, and be on the lookout from Joel, because I think that he's written a few really good articles on the mobile client and the tablet enhancements, as well as we've had some good CRM tip of the day come out. So we're going to get to the whole Salesforce Microsoft. Mark, did you have something you want to share?
Yeah. So just the other things around the new client is that the first client that was released that came out with CRM 2013 last November, it was really focused around Salesforce automation or those kind of workloads. In the new release, what you have now is the case element being taken into account. So a lot of those entities were read-only in the past. They're now editable. So what it means is that a field worker, if you like, somebody, let's say, walking around a factory with one of those devices could actually add in health and safety type incidences directly into the device as they walk around, which is then going back into their CRM environment to be triaged up and addressed. So having that case functionality now enabled, if you like, on those on the tablet experience, as well, of course, Android now being available. That's available up in the Google Play Store. The full story around supporting Android, iOS, and Windows tablet devices is now fully supported end-to-end. So quite exciting to see those areas lighting up. I know there's a lot more work being done in the product team in this area, and I think we're going to see a lot come even before the end of the year.
I agree. And all of the changes and the shift in Microsoft's business has been interesting since new leadership, right? This is kind of a nice segue into that discussion. Microsoft Cloud is definitely a huge investment, and I think that we're going to, I'm sure you guys all agree, we're going to see some significant dominance globally in that area with respect to the cloud and what they're doing in the cloud, and that all plays into what's available on our mobile devices, right, so that we can access CRM and the Dynamics features from anywhere across all devices, and that is definitely one of the commitments that has been made by Microsoft to the community in the last couple of conversions that I've attended, and they definitely made some huge progress in that area. So it is interesting. One of the newest developments that has come about that I think probably took a lot of people by surprise is this new partnership with Salesforce in the cloud. I'm interested to hear, and I know that the audience is interested to hear your take on that.
Okay, so I might jump in before Leon steals the show, being this is his subject matter expertise area. I read an interesting report on the weekend which came out by Nucleus Research, which is an analyst view on what's gone down. And from a Microsoft perspective, I think this is a very smart move. They open up or they expose or increase their market share in the Azure space as well as the Office 365 space. The share results show from a Salesforce point of view, their shareholders found it was a good idea because their share prices jumped. So I think from Microsoft it will benefit from this relationship. I think Salesforce will benefit from the relationship. However, the Dynamics product team, that line, I think, are probably the piece that is, if you like, the group that's been has got the short end of the stick, to put it politely. So our unique selling is really a few areas have been eroded now in our product offering. So what I'm hoping is that Microsoft Corp will turn around and throw 50 to 100 million to the Dynamics team and say, or maybe it needs more, and say, listen, just make our product best in the market. So if they're going to get more investment to do more, I think it's going to be a win for everybody. But at the moment, the market's perception is the win is definitely in the Salesforce camp if you're looking specifically CRM to CRM product comparison. And I wasn't happy about it.
No, you were quite put out, to put it politely.
Politely, exactly.
This hasn't worried me too much, right? Which is, in terms of what's happening here, let's look at Microsoft at a bigger perspective than CRM. They've got this Windows platform. They've got the Windows Phone platform. They're trying to get a bite of the tablet space. They're trying to get a bite of the phone space. They've also got Office, and these are products that bring in a lot of money into Microsoft. Orders of magnitude more than what Dynamics CRM brings in. And I've written a blog about this, right? So I won't bang on too much because we're sort of getting to the end of the hour. If you want to read my blog, leontribe.blogspot.com, I've talked about it. I've also got my Twitter handle there where I've advertised the blog. So feel free, read the blog. But in short, this is designed, I think, to meet the scenario. Let's say I've got a company which is rolling out enterprise apps, and they're using the Salesforce One platform. At the moment, right, there's not a lot of options from Microsoft's perspective of plugging in those mobile apps into the platform easily, right? So people are going to go, okay, well, what device do we put it on? Okay, well, we'll put it on an Android device. Okay, we're going to use Google Apps. What this agreement does is levels that playing field, if you like. So now, if I'm rolling out an app on Salesforce One platform, I'm going to have very easy hooks into OneDrive, into SharePoint, into Office 365. I can run it on my Windows devices. I can run it on my Windows Phone devices. And I think this is all the agreement's about. It's shoring up and trying to protect the future, if you like, of the Windows Phone, and the Office applications. Where it hurts us from a Dynamics CRM perspective is we've had very strong integration with Outlook and very strong integration with Office for a while now. And the suggestion is Salesforce is now going to get that. That's okay. There's plenty of other good reasons to buy Dynamics CRM. If that was the only thing that was keeping us in the market, we're probably in a bit of trouble, but it isn't. So yeah, in terms of does this worry me? Personally, it doesn't worry me too much. And as Mike says, it's a great hope, right? Microsoft will go, well, we better make sure our product's at least as good as Salesforce. You know, I think it's better, but you know, we have to make sure it's as good as it can be. Maybe that's a better way to put it. And hopefully they'll sink a lot of good funds in there. And that'd be a great outcome if that's the case.
Yeah, I agree with the analysis there that, I mean, the deal definitely makes sense for Microsoft as a company, and it's very well in line with their new strategies. So it was a surprising move, but a logical move from Nadella and his people. So, and maybe one thing I'd like to stress there is that it took the Dynamics team a long time to get to this point with the integration to the other products in the Microsoft stack. So just by announcing the partnership doesn't mean that Salesforce will get the same level of integration just like that. So it has been a long road getting here, and they have now just added a bullets into their list of features, but actually delivering a feature that works and which will work at least as good as the current Dynamics CRM integrations, then that's going to be a long road ahead. So by the time we get there, there's still going to be probably a difference that Salesforce will integrate with Outlook, yes, but is it going to be as deep or as good as the sort of authentic CRM product? Probably not for a long time. So you shouldn't, I mean, just assume that integration is equals to integration. There's a lot of details to cover in that, and actually to get it working on a reliable and functional level that satisfies the day-to-day use cases. So,
and frankly, it hasn't been an emphasis for Salesforce up until now.
Oh,
Sorry,
we
Mike.
have multiple people talking at the same time. Go ahead, Leon.
I was going to say, to date, it has not been an emphasis for Salesforce anyway to integrate with Outlook. Salesforce's perspective is Outlook is simply a place where email comes in to feed it into the Salesforce application on the cloud. So their focus has never really been let's build Salesforce within Outlook in the same way that it has been for Dynamics CRM. Right? For those of us in the Microsoft world, most of us, or a good fraction of us, live within Outlook. For the Salesforce people, they don't. They live in a browser. So as Jukka says, it's going to be a while coming if they build it. I'm not entirely convinced they will completely build it anyway. I think the integration and living within Outlook and using Dynamics within Outlook, that's going to be something that we'll have uniquely for certainly in the near future. It's just not Salesforce's focus. They don't look at the product that way.
Okay. Mark, did you have something that you wanted to close with?
No, my comment was just off what Jukka was saying, is that we've got that leap just as long as none of our underlying code is included in the deal.
Easy. Okay, fine. That's a good point. Yep, and you know, just so everybody understands, we are MVPs. We're technical experts on the product, but we certainly don't always understand all of the Microsoft strategies. A lot of people think this really isn't much different than, you know, the recent deals that they've made with Apple and Oracle and SAP and a few of the others. So there's more. We definitely see more collaboration across business lines where they were previously competitors. I think this was a little bit different for us in that Salesforce's entire focus is CRM, and as Dynamics CRM MVPs, our entire focus is Microsoft CRM. So it makes it a little more challenging and interesting for us. I just want to say thank you to everyone today. I want to be respectful of your time. We're already a few minutes over. I think you've shared some really great information. We had a couple of really nice tips that we haven't heard of much in the community, so that's wonderful. And we were able to get to everybody's questions, so this was really a successful panel chat, and I appreciate your time, and I hope you have a good evening or a good day, and I'll look forward to chatting with you again in the near future. Cheers, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.